Sweet. What's up? Let's take some questions.
Everything's about 10 seconds behind, so, or maybe 15. Do you have the chat up?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I already see we got one question in the chat. What is our stance on cursing or foul language? Is this how you want me to do this?
Yeah.
You want me to just
Go for it, man.
read these out of here
Or
and
I
just
can
go
read them
for
to
it?
you, or you can read them if you got it up.
I'll try to read them, but it was kind of small font. Cool. What is our stance on cursing or foul language? That's a really good question. I think that largely cursing and foul language is a cultural it's a cultural decision, one made subconsciously by cultures. So obviously there's nothing other than taking the Lord's name in vain. That's the only thing that's in Scripture not to say. Other than that, any other piece of what we might refer to as foul language is entirely cultural. The sounds that you can make come out of your mouth are frowned upon in some countries, and other sounds are frowned upon in other countries. They're not, by what that I mean, they're not part of a universal, objective, moral right or wrong. It's not like all people, all time know that these things are wrong to say, right? So it's cultural, it's subjective. There are things that you can say in England that you shouldn't say in America, and vice versa. So, kind of like going in point there, realizing it is cultural, all except for taking the Lord's name in vain. So, I would say that the only reason why a Christian ought not say certain things is because it's going to hurt your testimony. It's going to hurt your witness. And I would say this is most true around people who know you the least, right? So if you meet someone for the first time, it's a total stranger you just meet, and you're with them for 5 minutes, and they drop an F-bomb. Well, you don't really know that person. You've only interacted with them for 5 minutes, and in that time, they used a word that's culturally considered, vulgar. So that's going to frame your perception of that person. So then if that person turns around and tries to invite you to their church or to their men's group or tell you about Christ or whatever, your perception of them has already been skewed. So I would say there's nothing objectively, universally, morally right or wrong about saying that word, but it has the potential to harm your testimony. C.S. Lewis actually speaks to this very fact, and he's handled it very eloquently. That you think about what does the F word mean? What does that word mean? How is that considered a more vulgar word than shit? Which one of those two things should be considered more vulgar? So you can see, and I'm just quoting Lewis there. Uh, it's subjective, and so I would say that there's nothing wrong with uh, saying any word except for the Lord's name in vain, which is commanded in Scripture. But my position is we shouldn't say these around people who don't know us or are unbelievers because it's going to harm our testimony as Christians, which is why, as Christians, we need to hold ourselves to a higher standard. And when we hit our hand, when we hit our thumb with a hammer, we should not say what the world says. When we stump our toe, we should not say what the world says because there should be something about us that's different in every category. We should do everything different than the world does it. And that's part of what being a barbarian is all about. Using curse words, using foul language today just makes you like the rest of the world. It's just white noise. It doesn't set you apart, and it certainly doesn't attract anyone to come ask you for the reason you have for your hope. So as barbarian ambassadors, we should not be using a bunch of foul language and curse words because we want to be set apart. We want to be different. We want people asking us why. Cool. Good question there, Webb. All right. What else? There's so much in that text thread there. I'll let you just read to me what questions you want me to answer.
Definitely some follow-ups. Focus here, everybody. You can't see me, but definitely some follow-ups to that one. A few Ephesians verses. Some people would like some clarification on. If you want to do that.
Yeah, read anything you want.
All right.
Read me whatever you want. Yeah, we'll do a follow-up.
So the main one being quoted here, let's see, Ephesians 4:29, let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up, as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear.
Yeah, and so that begs the question, what do you mean by corrupting talk? Right? So is corrupting talk saying hell? You know, if somebody says, do you want to go to the game tonight, and you say hell no, is that corrupting talk? I don't believe that's what the author is saying is corrupting talk. I think it's more about what you're saying, who you're, putting down or gossiping or slandering or malice and envy and hatred. These things would be more corrupting talk, things that are indicating where your heart is at. That's probably that's how I would interpret corrupting talk. So much good stuff happened there.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot going on in the chat here. Got some more. I don't think that even, curse words and foul language, I don't think that's a super important issue. Maybe I'm wrong. This is just my opinion. It's not something that I hear anybody bring up who is unsaved or who is searching or who is on the fence or skeptical. This seems to be a conversation that's mostly brought up among Christians about, how we ought to behave around non-Christians. So it's kind of an insider topic, and it's one that, has to do with our testimony. So don't say anything that you feel is gonna hurt your testimony. It's not a matter of eternity.
Yeah.
Right? All right. Let's see. Tribe question. If you build the fire and lead Devo, but switch tribes before reciting the creed, do you reset back to 0?
I love these kind of MA technical scenarios. What was it again?
So if you're ready to get your coin, but you switch tribes before going for your coin, do you reset back to 0 and have to lead all 3 things of a different tribe before going?
So this is somebody, it sounds like they don't just go to 2 different tribes, like they straight up switched from going to one. Now they're going to a different one. Because some guys, they just go to one on Tuesdays and one on Saturdays or something like that. So I don't think I've really ever had this question asked before. I don't think we've thought about this one before. So I'm just going to totally shoot from the hip here and say, yeah, you reset. Start over, because this tribe doesn't know you. It's about your tribe, right? So if you switch tribes, don't expect to rest on your laurels from what you say you did in your past tribe. If I'm a tribe leader, and I think if we all kind of put ourselves in this situation, sometimes it might answer a lot of our questions. Put yourself in the position of a tribe leader. Stranger shows up at tribe and says, oh, hey, I'm from another tribe, and I've already done all this, so I want a call sign. And we have had that scenario, right? Oh, I've been to this tribe once and this tribe once, so this is actually my third time, and I'd like my call sign tonight. Yeah, but it's your first time here, and nobody knows you. So we'll give you your call sign when we think you're ready. That's why the leadership guide leaves the call sign up to the tribe leader. Whenever they think you're ready, that's when you'll do it. So let's say same thing true for going for your coin. If you show up at a new unit, a new platoon, you got to earn your respect there and start at the bottom and serve there as well. So I think same thing is true. Yeah, if you move to a new tribe, and it's not that difficult. It's not like we're putting some big setback on you. Lead a workout, lead a devotion, build the fire. You're going to do all that anyway because you're a leader, and so it's not like a big deal. I would think you would actually want to do this to kind of get more plugged in and connected, and the guys to know who you are. I don't want to get on a tire to say the creed to go for my coin in front of a group of men that don't know me. So I'm going to want to take my time, not rush going for the coin, and prove myself as a dude who's ready to roll up his sleeves and help lead at this new tribe.
Awesome. Let's see. What would your response be to those that say Men's Alliance is just for married men and only fathers?
Good stuff. I've never heard that one either. My response would be, it's not.
There you go.
It's for all men. We've got a lot of 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds. These aren't married men or fathers, and they're crushing it and leading devotions, and they're talking about their struggles. We've got young men, teenagers leading devotions about their struggles in the hallway of middle school. And I'll tell you what, those devotions are applicable to us grown men who are no longer in middle school because it's the same struggles. So I don't think like your age and stage of life is quite as important as some people make it out to be. Men have the same struggles, whether they're 13 or 30 or 70. We're all dealing with the same things. They just look different. They come at us from different directions. But I think all the same trials and temptations are there. So I don't even think that's terribly valid. I would just say, no, it's absolutely for any man.
Awesome. Real quick, before we get to the next one, I just want to call out, I have 131 concurrent viewers in here.
Cool.
And, I need y'all to go ahead and hit the like button on the video you're watching. I'll just go ahead and run it up because that just lets YouTube know something's going on here. So just go ahead and do that and share the link out. If you hit share on the page, you can send it through text to whoever you want to get them in here. All right, cool. PSA from Focus. Next one. We got, what is your response? Well, you'll like this one. What's your response to someone calling Men's Alliance a cult?
That's what I thought you were going to ask the first time you started the question. Oh, man. You know what I want to do? This is a great opportunity to, I'm going to read from our website, and this is a great opportunity to educate listeners that did not know we have this new feature on our website. This is a new computer, so it's not already programmed in here when I start typing. All right. So check this out, guys. If you go to our website, men'salliancetribe.com, and you click About, and you go to Frequently Asked Questions, this is a relatively new section we have on our website. There's some really good frequently asked questions in here. And number 18 is Men's Alliance a cult? So I'm just going to straight up read you the answer from the website. What do you mean by cult? Surprise, surprise that would be the answer. What do you mean by cult? First of all, if you're going to ask, is Men's Alliance a cult? Or say Men's Alliance is a cult. If you're going to say this, cult means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So I'm being very honest and serious. I'm not being sarcastic when I say, what do you mean by cult? Because if your family or whatever is asking you this, you got to make sure that you're both on the same page with your terminology. So literally I put on there, if by cult you mean a sinister organization that's pursuing power and pleasure and threatens to kill you if you leave, then no, we're not a cult. But if you mean a brotherhood that gathers around a fire, doing workouts and reciting a creed together, okay, then yeah, we do that. So I think it varies depending on what people mean by cult. It's a label that gets applied to a lot of things, and you gotta know what people mean by it. One of the ways I have historically categorized cults in my mind is cults generally want to be the only resource in a person's life. So typically if you join a what I would call a cult, they tell you things like, you don't need to listen to anybody else in your life. We have all the answers. That's a red flag that you're listening to a cult. If they're trying to cut you off from other relationships in your life and be your end-all, be-all, that's what a cult does. So Men's Alliance does not seek to cut anybody off from any other organization or relationship. So we are not your end-all, be-all. And then another characteristic of cults is that they don't want you to leave. And that's a big one. And so, you know, they go after people, sometimes legally, sometimes socially, sometimes physically. People will go after members who try to leave a cult. And that's just yet another way in which we're not. Men's Alliance, we've had lots of men leave, and we just say bye. So we're not making any effort to keep anybody in or to keep anybody from listening to other voices in their life. So if I could go by those two definitions, I'd say we're definitely not a cult. By the way, speaking of cults, you know, two of the largest cults in the world that don't want you to leave and go after you, and even try to kill you if you leave, is Islam and Latter-day Saints. So while you're talking cults, there's two big cults for you. They don't like people leaving, and there's history of murders when people leave. There, that'll stir the pot.
There you go. Got probably a quick one for you. I'll just lump them together. Got a question about cigarettes, question about tattoos.
Great. I could go for one of each right now. No, I'm just kidding. All right. What's the question?
Is it wrong? Or either wrong?
All right. So I'll give you the Goose opinion on cigarettes. I'm pretty sure they're bad for you. I don't think they're good for you. I'll tell you this. I think cigars are in a different category from cigarettes. I think that they don't have a lot of the additives and crazy chemicals and stuff that they put into cigarettes. I think that cigars are more just the tobacco leaf rolled up. And also, generally speaking, we don't inhale cigars. So I do think cigars are in a different category from cigarettes. But yeah, I think cigarettes are bad for you. if you're looking to improve your physical health, you probably should stay away from them or try to quit. I think everybody in the world knows that, and I don't think anybody is out there saying that we should start smoking cigarettes. But also, usually when somebody's asking this question, there's usually some sort of connotation about not doing anything that's unhealthy, which it can become an extreme position to take, right? And so I'll tell you, I'll open up a new can of worms here, and while you're talking about cigarettes and tattoos, I'll open up the topic of alcohol as well. And my take on alcohol, which is also something that can have negative health benefits. I think it should be treated very much like one would treat cake, right? So cake is not good for you. Cake is bad for you. You should not have much cake. You shouldn't have cake every day. And when you do have cake, you shouldn't have 7 slices of it. Same is true for alcohol. So can somebody have cake in their life, even though it's unhealthy and your body is the temple of God? Can you have cake? Yes. And also alcohol is in that category. So your body is a temple. You should take care of it. Is cake bad for you? Yes. Can you have a little in moderation? Yes. There are some things that bring joy to life and pleasure, like alcohol, and you can have them, but you shouldn't have it every day. And when you do have it, you shouldn't have 6 or 7 of them. So I would say that that's part of that whole argument. Tattoos, real quick. So, a lot of people talk about the Bible says, right? That's always a fun phrase. The Bible says. They're quoting Leviticus. I don't have it in front of me, but it's a Levitical law, and it also is right there with a piercing, right? And so don't get yourself pierced or tattooed. And to my historical understanding, is these were, bodily markings done for slaves, showed that you had you belonged to someone else. And I believe that God was telling the Hebrew people, don't mark yourself as belonging to anybody but me. You belong to me. So don't go marking yourself as being somebody else's property, like a branding. You're my property. I think that was what was intended. But even more importantly than that historical context is the fact that this is Old Testament law. So as Christians, we are not under one single sentence of Old Testament law. And we can go further down unpacking that and what that looks like. But just know that even without that historical context, any law from the Old Testament, we as Christians are not under that law. That's called the Old Covenant. We're under a new covenant. Jesus came and fulfilled that law. So if you came to me and said, look, Goose, it says right here in Leviticus, you're not supposed to smoke cigars or get tattoos or whatever else, where you don't eat shellfish, don't trim your beard incorrectly, don't wear clothes of 2 fabrics, say that was the law given to that group of people in that time. And I'm thankful that I am no longer under that law. So that's my take on tattoos.
There you go. Lightening the mood a little bit for some upcoming events. We got, where'd it go? Colin asks, do you have any unannounced spoilers or details about the national rally?
Oh, man. Probably so. We just had a rally planning meeting this morning. I will tell you this. The national rally is going to be unlike anything that's happened in this country. I'm so excited. I just can't wait to be there and see it. We're breaking all the rules about how to do a men's conference. It's quite possible that we're outdoors getting rained on. We're going to be flipping tires. We're going to be bear crawling. We're going to be doing burpees. It's going to be like a big Men's Alliance Lollapalooza with incredible speakers: Greg Kokel, Stephen Mansfield, Ben Shaw, Sheriff Carl Leonard, Pastor Brian Hughes. We've got a Christian metal band, Saved by Scarlet. It's our first ever Sunday morning church service in Men's Alliance too, and we've got some music. I won't spoil this one, but it's not going to be. We're going to sing a song. It's going to be a Men's Alliance Sunday morning. We are going to sing a song together, and I'm not going to tell you what it is or what the musical instrument is going to be, but I'll just tell you this. I'm going to bet $100 none of you have ever had this musical instrument in the worship band in any of your churches. So there's a teaser. We're also looking to create an environment where dudes can just get to know other tribesmen from other states and hang out around a lot of campfires, have a lot of great meals, and just get to know one another. It seems like the right idea to have one event per year where we bring all of our tribesmen together. So I'm looking forward to tribesmen from Georgia hanging out with tribesmen from Oregon, and tribesmen from Louisiana getting to know tribesmen from South Dakota. So that's going to be a huge element of it. And spoilers, what else? I think there's going to be an opportunity to actually wrestle Shadow and Gladiator. I think there's going to be a mat, and so I hope to see some good stuff hanging out there. I'll be hanging out there. I hope we're serving turkey legs. I think we're going to have a food truck with turkey legs, because my idea for the Barbarian Games is I'd like to walk around watching the Barbarian Games while eating a giant turkey leg.
Grown-up Disney World, man. Love it. All right.
We confirmed with our tattoo artists that are coming down from Grindhouse Tattoo in Pennsylvania. So they will be there, and so they're bringing 4 different MA tattoo designs. I know one of them is going to be the Spearhead logo. One of them is going to be the MA Shield logo. One of them is going to be the MA Tribe logo, and that's like what you see on Tribe cigars and Tribe coffee. It's a cross of like the sledgehammers, the skull, and the spearhead. And then we're working on one more, maybe finish strong with the sledgehammer or something like that. So that'll be fun. I'm going to definitely get some ink.
Oh, yeah. All right, maybe rapid fire a couple of these here. Does Men's Alliance help sponsor gifts that are to be purchased during tribe leader transitions?
Hold on. You're going to have to repeat that because I started reading and and my attention went away. So we are going to have a beard competition at the rally also. Start growing it now. There'll be lots of different categories that your beard might be able to win in. All right. Sorry. Now, what was it?
Does Men's Alliance help sponsor gifts that are to be purchased during tribe leader transitions? It's a little more inside baseball.
Not specifically. So I would say indirectly we do. We send gifts every single year to our tribe leaders. So if you are a tribe leader for at least 12 months, you're guaranteed to receive one of our gift boxes that we send to tribe leaders. It's possible that if you took over a tribe right after those gifts came out and handed it off right before they came out, that you would not receive one, but that would also mean you were a tribe leader for less than 12 months. So we're currently sitting about 200 tribes, and just to send a $40 box to every tribe leader, just a token of thank you for leading, Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your service and your sharpening of your men in your tribe. That small of a gesture going out is something that Men's Alliance spends thousands and thousands of dollars to do, and it's important, and we're thankful we're able to do it. And it's a lot of time boxing and taping 200 boxes and transporting them all to the post office and all the postage and all the stuff inside. So we in Men's Alliance, we value tribe leaders so much that we say that's absolutely worth it. It's worth the time, it's worth the effort, it's worth the money, and we will continue to send those out and show our appreciation to our tribe leaders for as long as we can. Hopefully we're still doing that when we've got 2,000 tribes. Hopefully we're still doing it. But specifically right at the time of a tribe's handoff, no, we're not doing anything at that exact time.
All right. Torque. PA Torque has a pretty tactical question. I'm interested to know the answer too.
Sweet.
There used to be the 3-month stipulation for going for your coin. Why did we remove that?
It's a good question. I'm trying to remember back to the why. I think a part of it has to do with it seemed unnecessary. It just seemed like an unnecessary rule because what we wanted to prevent was, and this is the same thing's true for the call sign as the coin. The idea is we want to prevent a man from getting everything in 1 week, right? So there's a time element involved to service and to leadership. So if I show up in Richmond, Virginia, I move here on a Sunday, and I go to a tribe on a Monday, a tribe on a Tuesday, a tribe on a Thursday, get my call sign, and then show up on Saturday. I'm a call signed guy now. I've been to 3 tribes, and on Saturday, I volunteer to lead the workout, the devotion, and build the fire. And I memorized the creed on Friday. The idea was, no, you're not ready yet. You're not ready for the coin. Slow down. By the way, side note, the people that I see burn the brightest, the fastest in MA also burn out the quickest. And sometimes the like a shooting star comes into MA and he's like, this is the greatest thing in my entire life, and I'm so interested in this, and man, I'm going to launch a tribe, and I want to lead everything and stuff. And then like 2 weeks later, guys like, this isn't for me. You said something I don't like. Bye. Like your head's still spinning from how quickly this guy came in and left. So I think what we're looking for is more of a consistent long service over a given period of time. But we removed it from being so objective because we want to put it in the tribe leader's hands. So just like with a call sign, it's up to the tribe leader. You'll get your call sign when your tribe has determined you're ready for it. And same thing is true with going for your coin. When you've led, when you've built, when you've memorized, that's when you'll go for it. We want to keep people from trying to jump through all the hoops in 1 week. But I think where most tribes are at right now is it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. Unless you're at a brand new tribe where there's nobody signed up for anything next week, and you could do that, unless you're at that new of a tribe, it's going to take you a while anyway to lead a workout, to lead a devotion, to build a fire. And so it's going to naturally work itself out. And if you're at that brand new tribe where there's nobody signing up for anything, then I think that's okay too, because that tribe might need you to get your coin a little quicker. So we didn't want to make like a hard, fast rule of it has to be 3 months, because this tribe over here, it might need a guy to get his coin quicker to help lead other men there. This tribe over here, it might just naturally take a guy a while because there's not a vacancy to lead anything for 2 months. So that was kind of our thought. And as much as we can as an organization, I'll just share with you some of my heart
for policy is I really don't like policy. And so if you make policy that says you have to wait 3 months, then you've kind of tied your own hands. I would much rather make policy that says when the tribe determines you're ready. That way you've left it subjective. You haven't ever tied your hands, and that tribe leader is free to give out call signs and coins whenever he sees fit.
I got a good one for you here. TJ asks, do you worry Men's Alliance can become an idol for some men?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's a great question, because literally anything can become an idol. So that's absolutely true. Any good thing. Well, you think about this. Let me say this. Every idol can be a good thing. Idols are when good things are overdone or misplaced, right? So think about this, right? Like there are men for whom money is an idol, or sex is an idol, or their job is an idol, but that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with money or sex or a job. So things go from good to bad when a man makes it an idol in his life. So anything that you put above God, your wife could become an idol, right? And our wife, we should not love our wife more than we love God. So that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with a wife, but if you elevate anything above God, then it's become an idol. So could Men's Alliance become an idol? Of course, anything can become an idol. So we do need to watch out for that and safeguard against that. And I think one of the ways that we do that, one of the ways that I tell men to not elevate Men's Alliance too highly is go to one tribe a week. I think if a guy starts going to 4 and 5 tribes a week, he's misplaced his time management. And unless that guy is single with no kids. But if you've got a family, you should be spending more time with your family than you are with your tribe. So that's why I'm a big fan of 1 hour a week. Helps keep it from becoming an imbalance in your life.
Awesome. I got 2 here. They kind of coincide. Answer's probably pretty similar. So Caleb asks, what's been the most successful outreach tactic for MA to reach other men? And then Kyle, this would kind of be the follow-up to that. How do you go about retaining those attendees of the tribe week after week?
Okay, I got the retention one. Say that first one again.
Just outreach. Like, what's been the most successful outreach tactic?
The most successful way that Men's Alliance is spread is word of mouth. Hands down, it's word of mouth. Like, the podcast is great. The website's great. Going to Ignite conference is great. And we see a lot of fruit come from all of those things. But a dude telling his buddy about Men's Alliance is the number one way. So it's always word of mouth. And how do you retain men? Well, you retain a tribesman by making sure that he loves his tribe. It's really that simple. So if a guy loves his tribe, he's going to come back to it next week. So every single tribe leader, every tribe has to ensure that it's doing things that men love. And it's keeping that tribal, rugged, real identity that keeps men coming back. I'll tell you, the way we're doing it is working. And we know that because of our growth and our retention. So you get direct feedback when you look at your numbers. So we know by looking at our numbers that we're reaching the right men and we're retaining them. We're changing men's lives. We're changing families' lives. And so we want to keep doing exactly what we're doing. So if you back up and you look at this organization called Men's Alliance,
if you were to examine it right now, you would come to the conclusion, don't change anything. Keep doing exactly what you're doing. If it's not broken, don't try to fix it. You're going to mess it up. So I would say if anybody out there, some lone rogue tribe leader wants to change something that we're not in favor of changing and he does it, he's going to break it. He's gonna introduce something that's gonna break the model, which is why we're so passionate about keeping our DNA true to form and not allowing it to get watered down at all. So that's part of it, because we are reaching men and we are retaining men and we're changing lives. God is changing lives through MA, and we don't want to do anything to break that model.
Awesome. This next one, Kyle made another comment about Men's Alliance and house churches. So I'm going to formulate that into the question. Is Men's Alliance only in churches?
No. Next question. No, I'm just kidding. Men's Alliance is actually the ratio has been shifting of tribes launched, and in February, I think it was, I'll be off of this probably by one digit, but I think we launched like 13 tribes in February, and I think 7 of them were not partnered with a church. So it's not even a rare thing anymore. It's a super common thing, and I'll speak to that for a second. So we kind of have 2 categories of tribes, and we haven't, this isn't like official, this isn't in writing anywhere, this is just my thoughts, is we have a category of tribes that are partnered with I'm going to say local churches, because you are the church. Okay, so let's define church, and a church is not a building. A church is a group of believers, and when you get 3 or 4 or more tribesmen sitting around a fire, we are a church. So I'm going to use the word local church because we're every bit a church as any other organization. So with that in mind, I will say that we have lots of tribes that are partnered with local churches. But we have men, and this is the important part. I want everybody to catch this. If you're passionate about launching a tribe and the local church that you go to says no, you just go elsewhere and launch your tribe. You do not need them to launch a tribe. It's great to. It's my plan A. If I had my plan A, every single tribe in Men's Alliance would be partnered with a local church. And that local church would love its tribe because it would see the fruit of all the men that it brings to its church, and that it mobilizes, and that it wakens off the sidelines and gets them involved in leading. And pastors would just love it. And every tribe would be partnered with a local church. But that's not reality. Reality is some pastors feel threatened by Men's Alliance. They don't understand it. They can't control it. And they're leery of it. So they say, no, we don't want that here. Hey, listen, that's no problem. We'll just say, thanks, have a nice day, and we'll go find another piece of grass or pavement to put your tribe. So we love partnering with local churches. Again, that's my plan A. But we have tribes that meet in public parking lots, American Legion posts, private property, just a guy with a big yard. So the beauty of Men's Alliance is it can go anywhere. And while we want to partner with churches, we're not going to let a church stop us from growing. So any church that wants nothing to do with Men's Alliance, not a problem.
We knock the dust off our sandals and we go plant that tribe somewhere else.
Nice. All right.
This is fun.
This is fun. I like this. All right. Jeremiah asks, where could we help volunteer for supporting Men's Alliance in various ways?
Great question. I would say our website, if you go to the men'salliancetribe.com website and our support page, we need support right there. There's 3 big ways that you can help Men's Alliance, and that's donating either your time or your talent or your treasure. And so we say this a lot, that God has gifted some men with time. Maybe they have a job that doesn't consume a lot of their bandwidth, or maybe they're recently retired. Well, we could use your time. Maybe you've got a talent. Maybe you have a very unique skill that you would like to donate. Amazing. We would love to take advantage of that. Or maybe God's blessed you with a financial situation in which you're able to give. And so time, talent, or treasure, these are the ways you can give. Go to our website and click on support. We need, in order for this ministry to keep up with its own growth rate, we are trying to keep up with God, right? We're not trying to launch tribes. We're trying to keep up with our tribe launches because they're going. And we're just trying to continue to create the infrastructure to support them. So we really need every single tribesman giving at least $27.17 a month. And if we had every tribesman giving $27.17 a month, we would be unstoppable. We would be able to do more, carry the fires, more start the fires, more rallies, more Warrior Princess, more Warrior Night, more Warrior Marriage, advertise more, podcast more, reach more tribesmen. We'd be able to just continue to keep our foot on the gas if every man were supporting us at the call sign level of $27.17 a month. So that's a big way that you can help us. I think the majority of us could give $27.17 a month. That's probably about what you spend each month on Netflix and beer. So we're looking to not have one guy give us $1 million. We're looking to have 1 million guys give us $1. And our opinion is that's how you get everybody rowing in the same direction to create a ministry whose engine is really unstoppable and not dependent on one sole source. So that's really, we would love to have you help. If you've got a unique time or talent that you would like to donate, I'm going to ask that you send us an email. Send us an email, info@men'salliancetribe.com. If you've got a unique way that you feel God's put on your heart for you to serve and give back, we're all ears, and we will help get you plugged in to what you're passionate about.
Awesome. Preacher has a good one. What were your thoughts on why these standards were loosened for the coin? I was told that it does not need to be an exact word for word anymore, and someone was allowed to get it with it not being perfect.
Whoa. We have not loosened anything. That is news to me, brother. And I would not give anybody a coin unless they said it perfect. So we haven't lowered the standard. I haven't heard of that. I'm looking at the creed right now on the wall, and it says, "I am a common man with an uncommon desire to succeed." I would not stop a man on the tire going for his coin who says, "I'm a common man with an uncommon desire to succeed." I would not stop him and say, it's not I'm a common man, it's I am a common man. Do you understand the difference there? I don't believe that he has messed up. I don't believe he has made an error. So that's like a way in which I would still give a guy the coin with I am a common man versus I'm a common man.
I'm looking at it. There's another one. I belong to a tribe and do not struggle alone. I wouldn't stop a guy who says I belong to a tribe and I do not struggle alone. So that inserting another I in it, I wouldn't stop him. But I still believe that even with what I just said, I am versus I'm, that is 100% accurate. It's not leaving out a word, and it's not mixing up. Usually when people mess up, they skip a whole line. They go from one section to another section and they left out a section, or they mix up words. And so we stop that every single time. When the world knocks me down, I'll get back up every time. I will get back up. So little things like that. And also, devotion to God will be my legacy, and I will finish strong. A lot of people insert an "and" in there, and so those are the. I would say, if I'm judging and a guy's on the tire saying it, I would say he's got to be 99.99% accurate, and that 0.01 won't involve any nouns or verbs. It's going to be like articles and conjunctions and contractions. So I still always say, and will always say, 100% accurate. And that's how I do it.
All right.
That was more than you wanted to hear, wasn't it?
I like this one. Question from Braxton Warrior, is his call sign. Are you thinking about making an HQ in other states requiring new positions?
Oh, man. Yes. I can't wait until we have a West Coast headquarters and a central headquarters as well. That will be awesome. And that's going to be really necessary for the growth of Carry the Fire. We're going to need, in 2026, we're going to need a second team of Carry the Fire directors. And so for those of us here in this area, North Carolina, Virginia, Pennsylvania, that are really leading a lot of these, even, we got guys helping us lead coming. We got Bull coming in from Minnesota to help us lead. So we got a team that's from all over helping lead, and we're doing 4 Carry the Fires a year this year. We can't keep having this same group run more Carry the Fires. So the solution is have another group. And I think it would be great to have that other group located in either Central or Pacific time. And I think we will be there. I think we'll be there 100% up and running with some sort of, director team in another location by 27. I think that's a pretty safe thing to say. I think we've got 25 really squared away, and we're already at this last Carry the Fire. We were training to hand over the logistics of it to Gage and Mayer. And so that's healthy. That's what we want to continue to see. We've got a ton of patched guys now in Texas and Minnesota. And so we're going to be leaning on these guys to be the plank holders as we bring Carry the Fire to Texas this November, and then maybe to Minnesota or Oregon or New Mexico or California in 26 and 27. So, 100%, that's what we're looking for, and we're just going to keep on, building more leaders, training the trainers, and always all of us are working to replace ourselves at every single level. So, man, I'm thrilled even thinking about it. I can't wait till God blesses us with a West Coast headquarters or a Texas headquarters. It's going to be awesome.
All right. I saw a good one a little while ago I wanted to come back to. All right. So for you personally, what is the hardest question you wrestle with in relation to your personal faith journey?
Good. I'm glad we got an easy, light question. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think about a good one here so I don't give a trite answer. I would say I struggle with all the same questions that everybody does. I struggle with them less often. They creep up less often. And when they do creep up, I'm able to answer them in my own head a lot quicker. So it's all the same stuff you wrestle with, all the same doubts that every human wrestles with. I'm trying to remember who it was that was talking to Jesus. Oh, it was John the Baptist, right? When John the Baptist is in prison, and he's even having doubts. So it's like he's John the Baptist, and he's been the guy. He's been the front man, the hype man for Jesus, saying, prepare a way, make straight a path for the Lord. And here he is, behold, the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world, whose sandals I'm unfit to untie. And he's done all this. And then John the Baptist finds himself in a very low point while he's in jail, and he's doubting, and he is sending word out to his cousin Jesus saying, hey, I just want to double check. I just want to clarify, right? Like, you are the Messiah, right? Like, I wasn't wrong about all that, because it seems like, if you really were, like, maybe you'd be helping me out here. So I'm obviously having some doubts since I'm in jail, and like, I'm your guy, I'm your right-hand man and blood relative, and I'm in jail about to get beheaded. So even John the Baptist had doubts, and he needed that reassurance. So it's not uncommon. We just have to remind ourselves of the answers, right? And so sometimes if I find myself thinking, man, how could a God really allow this tragedy to happen? I literally remind myself of the exact same things that I tell you guys and that I would tell anybody, right? Like, okay, I don't understand why, but he's the absolute best explanation for reality, right? Like Peter said, like when Jesus looked at Peter and said, "Are you going to leave me too?" Peter said, "Where else would I go?" Right? I feel that way sometimes when I have doubt, and I'm like, "Oh yeah." While there are things I don't understand, and while there are questions that I don't have answers to, I remind myself of there's no better explanation for the way the world is, the existence of the universe, the fine-tuning of it, the existence of our digitally encoded information of DNA, than a creator. And there's got to be a creator, obviously, because of all this evidence. There's clearly an intelligent designer behind it. Life doesn't come from non-life. Something doesn't come from nothing. So I remind myself of those facts, and obviously there is a creator. And then I remind myself of the fact that there's so much strong evidence that creator came to earth in human form, because of the evidence for the resurrection. And I remind myself, oh yeah, there's no way 11 men would have made this story up and allowed themselves to be dipped in boiling oil and drugged by horses and thrown off the temple roof and stabbed with a spear and all these horrific things, crucified upside down. If they had made it up, somebody would have recanted. And if anybody had stolen the body, it would have been easy to produce, right? So clearly the Pharisees didn't steal the body. Clearly the Romans didn't steal the body. The apostles had no motive. And so I run through these things in my mind, even when I'm filled with doubt. And I'm like, yep, clearly there's a God. Clearly, Jesus rose from the dead. Clearly, we have good early recorded eyewitness testimonies of this. And so you're kind of back on track, just like John the Baptist was. You're like, okay, I went through that little bad day there, that little downtime where I was struggling and I was doubting. And I just needed to be reminded again. Hey, God, remind me again. And then you get that reminder. You answer your own questions, and then you keep going. And so there's nothing there's nothing embarrassing about having doubt. If you don't ever have doubt, then that means you're not ever thinking, right? So we're all going to have doubt, and we're all going to need to know the answers. And that's why I talk about how learning apologetics is not just for others. In fact, it's more so for yourself, because it strengthens your own faith when you learn that there are great answers to all the questions that you struggle with.
And a good follow-up to that from Edmund here. So in your case, running back through all the stuff that you know to be true works for you. Edmund has a friend, or has friends, that get hung up on the fact that the Bible was written by man, and no amount of evidence, inspiration, or faith will help them get to the other side of that conversation. It's a common objection he's getting lately. What would you tell Edmund?
Yeah, so first of all, that is not why your friends are not Christian. That's just the excuse that they're saying to you, because the real reason is one they don't want to say out loud. And here's how I know that. Because those friends of yours that say that they can't believe the Bible because it's a book that was written by men, they believe everything else from books that were written by men. So I doubt that they doubt the history of the United States or the history of science or mathematics or philosophy or law or medicine, because all of these things are found in books that were written by humans. And so it's a very bizarre problem to have with something that it's in a book that was written by humans, because we don't have this problem with anything else we believe in the entire universe. No one says, I'm not sure if I can trust, my medical textbook on embryology because it was written by humans. Like, that's so absurd. I don't know if I can trust, my professor at law school because he's a human. I can't trust, this book on the history of the Roman Empire because this book was written by humans. It's just a flawed objection. And so I would say to you that your friends believe lots of things that are written in books by humans, and you can prove this to them by asking them the question, do you believe that humans are capable of writing down the truth? Pretty good thing to think about. Do you believe it's possible for humans to write down the truth? Yeah, I do too. And that's why I believe a lot of things that have been recorded. And here's what I would tell you. The real reason why your buddies don't want to be Christians is because they don't want anyone else to be Lord of their life. They want to be in charge. They want to do whatever they want, and they do not want to subjugate themselves to any other God besides themselves. But of course, that sounds extremely unpopular to say, so they're not going to say that out loud. They're going to say something else out loud that sounds a little more palatable to say at a party. And so that's why people come up with things like, I just don't think there's enough evidence, or I believe in science, or whatever people say. It's never that. That's just their go-to excuse. It's always because they want to be in charge of their life, and they're not ready to turn the reins over to somebody else.
All right. Good stuff. I got a layup for you here. Why did you start Men's Alliance?
Oh, man. Simple. I started Men's Alliance because it's what I needed, right? It's like, have you ever been in the house late at night and you really want cookies, but there are no cookies in the house, and you're looking around in the cupboards in the pantry and there's no cookies, but you see flour and sugar and eggs, and you're like, you know what? I bet I can figure out how to make them. And sometimes you just make what you need because what you need doesn't exist. And that's what happened with Men's Alliance. I knew I needed a men's group where we were real about our struggles. And I knew I needed a band of brothers who I could surround myself with, who were strong Christian men. And I didn't want to meet inside. I wanted it to be outdoors around a fire. So it just like pulled these ingredients together. I was like, this is what I need. And I'm looking around the church, and it's not here. It doesn't exist. And looking at the ingredients, I'm like, well, there's an outdoor field. There's a fire pit. Here's a bunch of dudes. Let's see if we can bake it. So it was what I needed. It's still what I need, and it didn't exist. So I just made it, and it's super simple ingredients, and that's how we're able to keep making so many of these. Is it's not complicated, but it's what every single man needs. I'm convinced of that. I think there's not a man alive that doesn't need a Men's Alliance tribe.
All right. Any idea how many patched members we have now?
We have a spreadsheet. If you want the exact number, I bet you somebody types it in there before I can even get to it. 235.
Over 200.
235. Is that what it
235.
says? I think there's about 235.
There you go. Have you considered expanding Answer with Truth?
Yeah, a little. I thought a little bit about it, but it's nowhere near the top of my list yet. So sure, it could be expanded. There are some other issues that it could address. Then it wouldn't be a field manual that fits in your back pocket. I think if people want more, it's probably better to just point them towards some thicker, more academic books on the subject, because the other things that I want to spend my time on right now are not another version of that or a new version of that. Actually, I've been working on and would love to see the completion of, I'm working on a relationship field manual. So I'd love to get that done and be able to put that out next. Similar size and format of the Ambassador's Field Manual, but a field manual to help men with their relationships, primarily, with their wives. So I've got that in the works that I've been plugging away on, and I think that's going to be a real popular resource for men, because we do relationship coaching for a couple years. You start to hear all the same things over and over, and you start to realize, man, you know what? Instead of me saying the exact same thing over and over, I should just write all this down. So that's kind of where that's at. But yeah, I would love to do another Ambassador Field Manual, and maybe I'll get to that. But for right now, there are other alligators closer to the boat.
All right. Any updates on MA Life Coaching?
Oh yeah, man, that one is cranking out fast. That one is going to come along really soon. I'm very excited about it. I'm working with Stack, our tribesman in Pennsylvania, who's our website designer. I'm working with him on that today. I was doing that right before this call. So I think it is not an exaggeration to say that Men's Alliance could quickly become the number one provider of Christian coaching for men in America because of our size and our supply and our demand. Like, we have both the supply and the demand. So that's incredible. So now we're just pulling together all of the logistics piece of that, the insurance, the legal paperwork, the certifications, and the website. It'll be up and running very soon. I'll share with you real quickly my vision for that. My vision is for any tribesman to go onto our Men's Alliance website, and when he goes to coaching, I want there to be an entire list of battlefields that he can choose from. Battlefields, like whatever battle you're currently fighting. Here's a list of the battlefields that we've all fought. And it'll be a list of battlefields like anxiety, depression, substance abuse, sexual addiction, marriage and relationships, divorce, financial management, whole bunch of them. And you select your battlefield that you're currently on and fighting in, and what would pop up for that battlefield would be a whole list of certified Men's Alliance battle coaches. And then you pick the one on there that seems to be the best fit for you. You'd have a paragraph bio about each one, and then you'd reach out and schedule your appointment directly with that tribesman, knowing that whoever you go to is not just a clinician who's sitting in an office with academic training, but they're actually a tribesman who has already fought that battle. They've fought that exact same battle as you. They have been there. They have done that. They have come out the other side of it, and now it's their mission to help you achieve victory on that same battlefield. So that's what we're setting up. And I'll just throw this out there again. If you're a tribesman who is interested in becoming a coach, send us an email to info@mensalliancetribe.com. So far, we've had close to 50, I think. The last time I looked, close to 50 different tribesmen raise their hand by sending that email and say, I want to be a coach. And we're working out a partnership. We're working out the details right now. Very excited about it. Our partnership with Light University, which is an affiliate of American Association of Christian Counselors. So we're working on our partnership with Light University. I don't have the exact numbers yet, but we're going to be able to offer any man in Men's Alliance who wants to become a certified coach, we're going to be able to offer you a discount to get your coaching certification through Light University and become a MA battle coach. So if you're interested, shoot us the email. That's what we're working towards. I think this is going to be huge. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Awesome. All right. Actually, looks like we have a caller on the line. Caller, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Goose, my question is, you do a lot of podcasts with some amazing guests. Who are you most excited about coming up? And who was your favorite podcast guest, and why is it Gladiator?
Oh, man. Thanks, caller. I really appreciate that. And who am I most excited about coming up? We've got some really awesome ones coming up. We've got some awesome ones that we've already recorded that haven't come out yet either, that I'm really excited about. Let's see. We have Jay Warner Wallace and his son coming back on soon. That's gonna be a really great one. He's one of our favorite guests. I'm excited about. We're going to be recording a podcast with the National Director of Right to Life. I'm really excited about that one. We have one scheduled with the National Director of Blue Lives Matter. and I'm really looking forward to that one. Let's see, who did we just recently do? Oh, we've got another John Burke podcast coming back up. He's the guy who talks about near-death experiences. So we had him on last year, and I went into that podcast skeptical and came out of that podcast just blown away, couldn't get to his book quick enough. And so I'm excited about having him back on.
We had Jordan Colley. Is that how you say it?
Oh,
Colley
yeah.
Coley?
Yeah, Jordan Colley. That's going to be a great one. That was our first musician that we had on the Men's Alliance podcast, so that's going to be fun. We're talking to him about, his journey to become a, professional, basically Christian worship leader and songwriter, and how he gets his inspiration, how he writes his songs. That was a really fun one. Look forward to that. Oh, we are, speaking of musicians, we've got a podcast that we're going to record Friday of the National Rally with Saved by Scarlet. That'll be a fun one. And yes, our Gladiator podcast is definitely one of my absolute favorites. I also loved the podcast with Hippo. Man, if you haven't heard the podcast with Hippo, that was an insane podcast. My favorite podcasts are ones with tribesmen sharing their stories. Any day of the week, I would prefer to do an interview with a tribesman about their personal story than about some famous best-selling author. To me, the famous best-selling author podcasts are a little bit less exciting than just here's a tribesman sharing his story. Those are the best. That's what I want more of on the Men's Alliance podcast. So by the way, you can send in your story. If you have a story to tell, a story to share, my story at men'salliancetribe.com. Send us your story. And we would love to hear from you and get you on the podcast. Currently, we're looking, what's today? Tomorrow's war cry is going to be asking for, we're looking to do a podcast about being single in Men's Alliance. So that call is going out already. If you're a single dude and you want to come on the podcast and talk about the challenges about that, the benefits of that, the biblical calling and application of what that looks like, I think it's something great to talk about, and we're going to do a podcast on it. So there you go with that too. I'm hoping to get, I'll throw this one out there, we really want to get John Lovell from Warrior Poet Society on the podcast. So go to his website or go to his social media and feel free to let him know that he should totally partner up Warrior Poet Society with Men's Alliance.
Yeah, I was gonna say I see a lot of names in the comments here of y'all calling people out. Like, definitely go tag those guys on social media and just go in their comments and let them know, hey, you got to get, either tag Goose or Men's Alliance or both on your podcast and just kind of wake people up, man. Get them in front of us.
That's right.
Let's see. I saw another one. Let's see. We're at an hour 15. So I'm just looking at you for when you want to.
Yeah, let's go for about. I think my bladder's got about 5 or 10 more minutes.
All right. Somebody mentioned an interesting one would be about stoicism. So that kind of raises a question for me. Like, what are your thoughts on stoicism and any commentary on that?
Yeah, that would be a good one. I think if we were to do that podcast, we need an expert on stoicism. So if you would like to see us do a podcast on stoicism, by all means, recommend an expert on it to me, and we'll look into it. Stoicism is one of those words that means a few different things to different people these days. And we could definitely talk about its history, its origin, its belief system. There's a belief system around Stoicism about the suppressing of displays of emotion. And so it goes way back to being almost a religion of Stoicism by the Romans versus just today's colloquial use of Stoicism means to, not make a emotional display of yourself all the time. So we could go really deep into its Roman history and get into Marcus Aurelius, and that would be a blast, but I would need an expert to come on and talk about that. So if you know the guy or gal, let me know. Which also makes me say, if anybody knows an atheist or a Mormon or a Muslim or a Hindu or a Buddhist, if you know somebody who wants to debate a Christian, I would love to have them on the podcast. They're actually really hard to find. We've tried to get atheists on, and they don't want to talk. We've tried to get pro-abortion advocates on. They don't want to talk. They're harder to get on to talk than you would think. So I would love to have a Muslim, Mormon, some of these large world views that disagree with us on, to have what I would think would be a really engaging and sharpening dialogue with.
Awesome.
Debate Chat GPT.
I saw that.
All right, Warrior. I don't know how to do that, but I like the idea. You come on and you be Chat GPT, and I'll debate you.
We can set that up. I've seen videos on that before. I like that idea. Got a Convoy in the chat. The land down under wants to know when we're going to Australia. I also have the same question.
Oh, man. Oh, what's up? Convoy. When are you coming to Australia? As soon as I can. I would love to. I am looking forward to. I'm planning strategically to begin traveling more, to visit more of our geographically separated tribes, starting up this fall. So we've got a lot that we need to get to. And I was talking with Thor yesterday about the best way to get Carry the Fire to other countries. So this is something we're thinking about and trying to figure out. And I'm all ears. If you got some suggestions, let me know. I'm really pumped about your tribe in Australia, and also our tribe in Budapest. And I think that you guys are the plank holders in those countries, and it's only going to take off and grow from there. So my goal is to get a group of you in Australia and in Budapest patched. So I want to get you guys through Carry the Fire so that you can literally carry that fire back to your country. And then we'll start cranking more men through, and those men God is going to start spreading out and using in those countries. So, man, I'm so fired up about this.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll be an exciting one. We definitely got to go out there and shoot some podcasts too. So that's kind of a crazy. I feel like that would be a good episode. Just like the first man to start a tribe on a new continent.
Oh, that'd be good.
That's just a cool headline.
Yeah. It's like going to the moon or something.
Yeah, a pioneer. Let's see. All right, got a few more minutes. If anybody has any pressing questions, let's go ahead and drop them.
What was that one? What was that one that was dropped on Facebook?
Yep.
Oh, here's one. While you're looking up another one, I know one that came in. From time to time, we get the question, "What's up with the skulls?" So this is like an evergreen question. And can you look and see too, like which podcast episode that was? If you scroll through them. Anyway, we did a podcast called Memento Mori about the skull in Men's Alliance. So if you really want a deeper answer, go listen to Memento Mori. But I'll give you the short answer. Memento Mori is Latin for remember death. So the reason why we do use skulls in Men's Alliance, you know, they're on our coin where it says isolation is terminal. We have the skull, and so to me, it's the best answer is it reminds us. The skull is a reminder of our own mortality. It reminds us that we are going to die. And you had better be thinking about what kind of legacy you want to leave, right? We talk in our creed about our legacy being faithfulness to family and devotion to God, and we want to finish strong. The skull is a reminder of, bro, you are on your way out. You are on your way out. We are all one step closer to death every single day. So don't forget that fact and be mindful of what kind of man you want to be. How do you want to be remembered? What's the legacy you're going to leave? We talk more about this at Carry the Fire. And also it just is a reminder that isolation is terminal. So there's actually nothing unique about our use of skulls. It's been used by church fathers for centuries as this memento mori. And we talk in the podcast about Jerome, referred to as Saint Jerome, who was the first guy to go learn both Hebrew and Greek so that he could copy both Old and New Testament into Latin. The Latin Vulgate written by Saint Jerome. He kept a real skull on his desk. And so there's some famous paintings of Jerome with a skull on his desk. And we're reviving the concept of a memento mori, a reminder of our mortality.
Yep, and that does that was part of the question that was on the Facebook post. If you want to hit this one, I think this would be interesting. The document that went out, calling a lot of our imagery and everything evil and demonic. Hey, if you just want to touch on that,
Yeah,
because it was pissing some people off.
Oh man, yeah, that document it was literally incoherent. It was comical. I hope it didn't really make anybody mad. It should make you laugh, and it should make you a little bit happy that we're big enough that somebody wanted to throw a spear at us. You know, that was sent to tons of pastors. This person who made that document really went to a lot of work to go find all these different church email addresses and send it to them. And you got to understand, and this is something crazy people don't understand. That's part of being crazy, is everybody can see it but them. So it didn't do us any harm. Every single pastor that this went to, they just forwarded it to us and said, just want you to see what I got. You know, it doesn't sway anybody. It's obviously, written by somebody who doesn't really know what they're talking about. So it didn't upset me at all. We kind of chuckled about it here, and then we just went on with our day. It was not a big deal. Certainly not anything to make us upset. It's we hit bigger speed bumps than that every day in Men's Alliance. That one didn't even make it onto the radar. So expect more of that stuff as we go, not less. It's going to be more, and it's not a big deal. The only way it could become a big deal is if you let it and you got down in the weeds and wrestled with it, right? I heard this saying just last week that this whole episode with that document reminds me of, said, never wrestle with a pig. Never wrestle with a pig because you're going to get dirty and they're going to like it. A pig would love nothing more than for you to wrestle with it, right? And so don't ever wrestle with a pig because you're just going to end up dirty and they're going to like it. And that's exactly what that situation reminded me of. When somebody writes some document or slanders Men's Alliance or says we're a cult or we're racist or we're misogynist or we're chauvinist or whatever, don't even engage. Don't even wrestle with them. Man, you're just going to get dirty and they're just going to enjoy it. So we've just got to continually just step around these silly little, speed bumps in our pathway and just keep moving forward. We're on a mission from God. I need some sunglasses to put on when I say that, but we're on a mission from God. So we're not going to let little documents like that get in our way.
All right, last one. We'll wrap it up because I like this idea, and Eagle and Phoenix both co-signed it. Have we thought about, or before I even get into the question, if you're still here and have not liked the video yet, go ahead and do that. It just helps with the algorithm, all the things. Last question. Have we thought about getting into retirement homes to meet these men that have been put into isolation? Literally put in there.
I have never thought about that. That has never occurred to me. And I'll tell you this. Who did you say wrote this?
This was Matthew Lynch. Phoenix referred to him as Prime.
Yeah, Prime. Call sign. Prime. Let me tell you something. The fact that you thought of that should not be ignored, right? So that shows me that God just put something on your heart that he has not put on mine or on anyone else's I know, which means that's a very unique calling. So you should pay attention to that. I don't know what that would look like, but I love the intent behind it. I love where your heart's at. I think this would be amazing. And, just like Men's Alliance has a jail and prison ministry that by necessity, it looks a little bit different from the rest of Men's Alliance. There's no fires, for starters, and there's no sledgehammers, right? So you can do Men's Alliance without fires and without sledgehammers. We do it every week in the jail. So if you have the desire to start some sort of a rest home ministry, it's okay for it to look a little different. So be praying about what that might look like and what God might be calling you to do. And again, I haven't thought about it, but I love, where your heart's at.
Yeah, that was a great question. I really like that idea. Awesome, y'all. Well, we're at an hour and a half. Can you go ahead and call it?
Man, this was fun. We'll have to do this again. Thanks for putting this together. You guys, Focus is he's the new Men's Alliance Director of Podcasting and Social Media. You can check him out on our leadership page. And he has been crushing it. This whole thing was his idea. And, I'm always happy to, sit behind a mic and talk. This is too easy. I love connecting with you guys, love connecting with tribesmen, love hearing your questions. If we didn't get to your question today, please email it in, info@mensalliancetribe.com, and we'll shoot you an answer if we didn't get to it. But just to repeat, one of the things that Focus said is we really need you guys to help us on social media with watching, liking, and sharing our YouTube videos, because this is one of the biggest ways that we can help spread the MA fire. So don't just think it's a self-serving, trivial thing to like and share. It actually helps more men find Men's Alliance. So it's not a small thing. We really need you to do it. Currently we've got about 3,500 men. It's a really good estimate. About 3,500 men in Men's Alliance, and that's just ones that know that have access to the internet. We've probably got another 500 or more MA guys who don't have computers or internet, and that's fine. But we ought to be having a lot more
interactions with men on YouTube than we're having. So we've got 3,500 men. We should really be having, like 1,000 or 2,000 views on everything we do. And I'm asking you guys for your help to get us there. So Focus and me can only do so much. Man, this was fun, guys. Look forward to doing it again. Maybe we do this regularly.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. See ya.